Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. It's my Sunday. And I just got back from brunch a little bit ago. I actually just emailed customer service at Sony about my cameras because I am so frustrated with my camera. And I have no idea how this vlog is going to work today, to be honest with you, because I'm currently on my way. I have this leftover coffee from, look at my hair day today. Hello. That's why you wear a hat to brunch. I really want to get an iced coffee, though, because that coffee is hot. I'm on my way to Best Buy to look at a Canon, because I have to have a camera that works. You know, like I can't be screwing around with this camera that goes off every 5 minutes. I know it's annoying for you, but it's really annoying for me too. And so I apologize for it. I feel so bad that you guys, when you're watching it, it's like I'm forgetting what I say and blah, 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 whatever. Well, let me just tell you that Best Buy has such a bullshit return policy. They'll like fight you the entire way. I bought a memory card. No, I bought a battery for my old camera because when the camera broke, before I bought a new one, I thought, well, maybe it's the battery, because I was like reading forums online and stuff. So I took the battery back and then I bought a new battery, and I said to the woman that was there, and I said, can I can open it to use it and then return it if it's not that, right? And she looked at me and she was like, yeah, obviously. She was like, I mean, how are you going to know if the battery works or not if you don't open it? And I was like, okay. So I opened it, I put it in the camera. Within 10 seconds, realized it's not a battery issue. Put it back in the package. I was very nice with how I opened it, brought it back to Best Buy. Oh, you can't return this, you already opened it. I said, excuse me? And they were like, oh, you can't return this. And I said, well, the girl told me that I could return it. And they were like, well, she should never have told you that. And I go, okay, so she pointed out a good fact, so I'm going to point it out to you. How was I possibly supposed to know if this product worked or not if I didn't open the package? Susie? And then they're calling managers over. And then there's 5 people there trying to explain to me that I couldn't open a package to get my return policy. I said, I'm just telling you what somebody told me. So, you know, I'm telling you what they told me. If I have to eat, you know, a $60 battery bill, I guess that's what I have to do, but I'm not going to be real happy about it, and I won't spend any more money at this store, is what I told them. And I mean, I buy all of my technological stuff, because I'm, you know, so technological, at Best Buy. So, I mean, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. No, I mean, it's not. Like, they could give a shit at the fact that I would say, I'm never coming back in this store. You know, they're probably like, thank God, he bitches too much anyway. But anyway, they let me return the battery only because she told me that I could open it. So nobody told me that I could open this camera and try to use it. So now that I've been using it for 2 weeks, and that it actually some days does work, some days doesn't. I mean, is it interesting to anybody else that it is 91 degrees, the camera is in direct sunlight, and it's hot as shit in this car? I've cussed a lot today, I'm sorry, it's hot. And the camera isn't, the yellow light's not coming on, it's not shutting off or anything, but when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and it's 20, 30 degrees cooler than it is right now, and it's dark, the camera doesn't work. Like, that makes no sense. That's a camera issue, okay? So anyway, screw Sony. Do not buy a Sony camera. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. And I know that they're going to get, you know, these customer service people, they want to get real righteous about stuff, right? This is what I love, is when customer service people say to me, oh my God, it's going to storm so bad over there. When they say, if I could help you, I would, but listen, I mean, I only have so much power. I'm like, you know what? They are only human beings on the other side of the phone. It's not like they can help it, you know? And I've had some customer service people that are like really, really nice. But I would say that by and large, the ones at Sony are not those. They are not those people. I can hardly see this camera because it's so hot in here right now. But anyway, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. This cable company lady one time that I talked to, she was so nice. And my cable went out at like 10 o'clock at night. And, you know, I'm talking to her on the phone, and she was real sweet. She was like, how's your day going? I'm like, it's okay, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just really frustrated with this. She's like, I'm sure. You know, yada, yada, yada. So we got talking, and she's like, listen, she's like, I am not anywhere near you. She's like, I'm in upstate Michigan. If I could come there and help you fix it, trust me, I would. She was so cool.
Welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started for you?
Can I get a venti iced coffee with 2 equal, please?
Venti iced coffee with 2 equal. Any milk or cream for you?
No, thank you.
All right.
know how to use this Starbucks app. So that has my, I just reload it with money and stuff like that. I don't know that he wants to be on this camera, so. Just a second.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you today?
I'm good. Ooh, I like that necklace, that key.
Thank you. That's the house I grew up in.
Really? Well, where'd you grow up? Transylvania? My God, look at that key. It looks like that's
Irvington, actually.
Oh, did you? I was just talking to somebody about Irvington at brunch today. I love Irvington. You know what's so funny is, I was just going through, I know you could care less about this, but I have to show you anyway. I was just going through in here, because I keep all my trash in here, and I have the Haunted Fest from Irvington. I have my ticket from last year that I went to. Yeah.
I haven't actually been to the hall
And
in so long.
at the old church or the library or whatever it is.
I mean, I live right there, but I only work on the hall. Because
Yeah.
I'm so who wants to
You're against Halloween? Okay.
I can dress up anything.
Listen, it's Halloween, okay? I am not impressed. What does your hat say? What does your hat say?
Do what?
What does your hat say?
Wayland, Tanny the Alien movies.
I don't know, no.
Oh, they're the sci-fi movies.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye. He had this huge, like, key hanging around his neck. I love him. I love people that don't give a fuck, you know? Anyway. So I had this woman that I worked with, she was like my customer service rep when I was talking to the cable company one night, and it had been like 3 times that like the router had gone out on her internet, and I kept on asking for her because she was so nice, and by the 3rd time she's like, sweetie, listen, she's like, I'm like in upstate Michigan right now, I'm like in a call office, okay, I don't even ever see people from your cable company. She was like, if I could come down there right now and fix it for you, or demand that a service person showed up at your door, I would. She's like, because you know, you have to schedule these like servicemen to come out, and it's like 3 o'clock, you know, between 3, and the hours kill me, okay? The hours of, and one of our very best friends is a serviceman for the cable company that we work at, and Alex just calls him directly, but I always feel so bad doing that. So I always call the company, and then they send somebody out, and then my friend is like, why didn't you just call us? Or call me? And I'm like, I don't know, I feel bad bothering you, Sam. So anyway, but Alex just calls him directly. So anyway, but you know, their hours are crazy, like when they have to like, oh my God, the orange light is on, the orange light is on, I'm getting a new I'm getting a new camera, screw you, yellow light. Which I don't know how I'm gonna do. I don't know if the memory card will translate over to my new brand of camera. So we're gonna have to see if, oh, Peter, you're a YouTuber. You make so much money. You must just live off your luxuries of YouTube. Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada. No, I had to buy 15 cameras this year because all my Sonys broke. But anyway, so she was so sweet to me that night. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, but when they set up those service hours, this is what kills me. They'll be there between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. or 4 p.m. and midnight. I'm like, you want me to sit my ass here for 8 hours and just not do a thing? I have no cable. I have no cable. What am I supposed to do? I have no internet. I'm just supposed to sit here and go, you know, thank God I like to read. So I'm like, God, give me a break. And then it's always like 2 weeks out. They're like, well, we can get you in September 9th between 3 and midnight. I'm like, September 9th at 3 and midnight? Are you kidding me? That shit just irks me. This is like a rant video right now. Whenever I get rolled over, somebody just go, psh. Do you ever do that? You do, don't you? Anyway, we went to brunch today. There was something I wanted to tell you from last night. Did I already tell you? I can't remember. Oh, I know what it was. Everybody's been telling me that the camera lens is like cloudy and people can't see. It doesn't matter anyway, I'm getting a new camera. But I just cleaned it off with this right here, see? And people keep on asking me on this channel, I wish you had a channel where you answer, you know, advice questions. I do. It's on my Peterisms channel. The email's underneath there, so go check it out. We had a good day today. I have like nothing to do because all of my videos are already up, and I've just had a fantastic day. It's literally like, I want to show you guys this, and then what you're seeing here. Look at the sky. Do you see? We're about to have rain. Please don't make these feelings end. Do you guys remember that song, Ice Castles? What was that song? That was the movie called Ice Castles? Look at that. Anyway. I used to sing that with my friends back in the day. We used to sing that song from Ice Castles. I can't remember what it is. Please. Was it with Christy McNichol? Do you guys remember that movie? Was it called Dolls or something like that? I don't know. But anyway, we went to brunch. I had an omelet, a bagel, potatoes, which I brought home. It just stopped! Alright. So I'm back in the car. Well, I bought my camera, and I bought a Canon, and the girl that helped me, Samantha, at the Castleton Best Buy, asked for her if you ever go in there. She was amazing. She's helped me twice now, and she's so nice. And, what am I doing here? She's so nice, and she really knows her stuff, and I was talking to her about the Sony, and she's like, yeah, I've had a lot of people return it, and she was telling me about this Canon, and she's like, nobody's returned this Canon, this is what you should get, it's a great camera, it's great for vlogging, and, so anyway, so I got it, but they didn't have it, and so I was gonna go pick it up at another store, because I wanted to have it today for my vlog, and so she called there, and they didn't have it. So she was like, she did some deal. I don't know. The camera was on sale. It was $100 off what I thought it would be because I looked it up online. And 2-day shipping. So it'll be here on the 17th. So I'm really excited about that. All these people with like different colored hairdos. Like she's got blue hair. This whole family in there except for the husband. There was like this, they were a real cute family. Wife and 3 kids had like, all the kids, who were probably all under the age of like 10 or 12, all had real different colored hair. I love that. I used to have real different colored hair when I was in high school. There are some good looking men today. Is it like sports season? I'm such an idiot, okay? But there were some like good looking men up in the Best Buy, and they were all in the TV section. Do you ever guys like try to figure shit out? And so they're all in the TV section. They're all looking at these ginormous TVs, you know, that are gorgeous. I will say this, screw the Sony cameras, but the Sony televisions are like phenomenal looking. So anyway, it is like, you guys look, I want to show you. Do you see over here above the mall? Can you see? It's like pitch black as we're about to have this total thunderstorm. And I am ready for it. So anyway, this is so confusing how to drive around the mall. But there were all these there's like 3 like really good looking guys. They were all like, but dressed very metrosexual, but you know? And they were all looking at these ginormous TVs, like not together, but separately, while I was sitting there and she was checking me out. And I was like, is it like sport? Like it's summer, so like what sports are they watching? Or are they just Netflixing and chill? Is that what that's about? My dad one weekend, my dad and my stepmom have a really cool basement. They, for like, I think like 5 years in a row, my dad really wanted to retire to Santa Fe for a long time. He loves Santa Fe and the Southwest area. And they used to go there and take art classes. And my dad actually used to take sculpting classes with Martin Sheen, the actor. And so after like their 2nd year, they came back and they redid their basement, and they had the whole basement redone in like the Southwest. It's very minimalist. It's all like off-white, and they had this fireplace built in the basement that looks like, you know, a fireplace like in the Southwest. It's like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, anyway, their basement is really cool, and they have this like Berber carpet down there, and it's big, and it overlooks the pool. Well, one year, my stepmom got like really sick, like really sick for like 3 days. And like the first day she whatever, and then like this next day she went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you need to just stay in bed for like the next week. And so she wanted to be down in the basement because they have like a little kitchen down there and stuff like that. And so my dad went to Best Buy and bought some ridiculous TV so that he bought all these movies for her and stuff, which was so nice. I mean, it really was. But they literally, in their basement to this day, because of the week that my stepmom was sick, they have this like ginormous television with this. I mean, the guys came in and set it up. They have a sound system down there like it's this movie theater. I mean, it is unbelievable. And they never go down there. My dad goes down there to watch the news, and he watches, what's my dad's show that he watches? You cannot bother my dad between the hours of 6 and 7 when he's watching the evening news. And what's the other show he watches? Law and Order. Oh, my dad loves Law and Order so much. He's watched every episode, every season, but he loves that show. So if you call him and it's like he's like, I'm watching Law and Order, can I call you when it's over? He always says that. But he's the only one that sits down there and watches it. He was texting me today because you know, they live out kind of in the woods on the water, and so they have a lot of animals that come up to the house. Well, my dad would take the dogs out, you know, when they were still alive, and there's always squirrels around and stuff like that. So my dad started feeding these squirrels like peanuts, and I don't know, he like he went to some pet store and found out like what you feed squirrels, and he got him these like raw peanuts, and I don't know, whatever. So he still puts them out, and he gets real sad because he's like, since Billy's gone, Mr. Squirrel, he calls him Mr. Squirrel. He's like, since Billy's gone, Mr. Squirrel doesn't know what to do anymore. He comes to visit Mr. Billy, and he sent me this picture, and it's the squirrel, like, looking through the window, okay? Hands up on the window, looking at my dad in the kitchen. And my dad said, I just realized I forgot to put out Mr. Squirrel's peanuts. And I said, do you really put peanuts? He goes, yeah, every morning I put peanuts out for him. And he always comes, and he always sits out there and looks in the window at me. That's so sweet. So I texted him and I said, you guys need to get a new dog now. And he was like, you sound just like your stepmother. He said, she just said, I agree. And I said, it'll make you guys happier. They have always had a dog. I don't ever remember my dad not having dogs. I mean, they've always typically had 2 dogs. And when I was growing up, they had an Airedale, Clifford, big red dog, who originally was my dog, but really became my dad's dog. And then Jolie, and she was a Yorkie, and that's where the whole Yorkie thing started. And then it went into, you know, different dogs and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, they've always had like 2 dogs or, you know, whatever. I think at one point they had 3 dogs. And my dad is just such an animal lover. He loves dogs so much. I don't know what his resistance is. I think part of it is that he's like, because he said something at brunch when we mentioned it the first time. He said, yeah, we'll probably get another dog. And he's like, but you know, Peter, he's like, I mean, I'm not going to live to see this dog's lifetime. I'm like, Dad, you're 78, you're in great health. Who's to say you're not going to live to be 100 and you're going to outlive this dog? He's like, well, I just don't think that. I'm like, and it's not just for you. It's for, you know, my stepmom as well. Like, she wants a dog. And she's at home all day long by herself. And I know she gets lonely and stuff out there. I mean, she should get a dog. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll get another Yorkie because that's what my stepmom loves. They keep their Yorkies like cut really short. They're real cute whenever they, anyway. Did I tell you guys the story about Billy, Jambalaya Gumbo? So my dad got this dog. My stepmom wanted a miniature Yorkie. My dad paid out of the ass to have this Yorkie flown in from Louisiana, okay? And this miniature Yorkie that the people promised it was a teacup Yorkie, okay? My stepmom had dreams of carrying this thing around in one of those little pet purses to, you know, everywhere she went and stuff. Okay, let me just tell you that when Billy died, he was the fattest Yorkie anybody had ever seen. He was like, seriously, like 18-pound Yorkie. He was so pudgy, and he would just walk back and forth. He lived to be really old, though. He was like 18 or 19, I think. And, so, dogs just make your life so much better, don't they? I think they do. It's interesting that I'm vlogging today, and me vlogging during the day is, like, it's not stopping. Like, I'm kind of, like, afraid to stop it right now, to be honest with you, because I'm like, well, if I stop it now, then... So if you guys mind me vlogging during the day, let me know. But I can't believe the rain hasn't hit either. But I want it to be more consistent. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to get this new camera. And I will say this, is that now I really do, because I tried to plug in my original camera last night and charge it. It's dead. It just won't even work anymore. And Alex is like, are you really going to go buy a new camera today? And I said, yeah, I have the money saved. I have it saved for emergencies. I mean, this is what I love to do. I put up 4 videos a day. This is kind of an emergency to me. I want to make videos for the people that love to watch my videos. I don't want to sit, you know, and wait for Sony to respond to me and then say, well, your warranty is out or whatever, and then I haven't made videos. He goes, you know what'll probably happen is Sony will probably end up paying you or sending you another camera, and then you'll have like 3 cameras. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Plus, I mean, I can use this camera at home, but like not really, you know, because it's just so unstable that I never know if it's going to allow me to film a 5-minute video or a 20-minute video. And the thing is like when I'm filming, like, it's okay, the vlog is one thing, because I can turn it off and let it cool down and come back. But with like my videos, like my drama channel videos, well, if I'm in the middle of saying something, like I'm real heated, you know, and then I have to stop the camera and let it cool down and come back, and you guys know that I do those wonderful editing pieces that are together. What you don't realize is there's been like a half an hour in between then, right? And so I might be real riled up telling the truth about something, you know, just singing the truth, and then I come back and it's been a half an hour and I don't feel that strongly about it anymore, you know what I mean? And so it just kind of kills my videos instead of me being able to just shoot straight through. So, she was explaining to me all the reasons why she thinks the Sony Alpha 5000 cameras overheat. It said something about a mirror. I don't know about a mirror, something about a mirror. But anyway, I do feel like a real YouTuber now though, because I got several different kinds of cameras. It's like, when do you feel like, oh my God, I just got this stuff everywhere. Oh, gross. Ugh. I knew that was going to happen. I remember my publisher and agent said to me, you don't tell anybody that you're a writer. I didn't. I felt like you're not really a writer unless you're on the New York Times bestseller list, or you're making a living, or you're living off of your writing, right? And so she said, why don't you tell people that you're a writer? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, like, well, when people ask you what you do for a living, why don't you say I'm a writer? And I said, because I'm not making a living off of writing. And she said, you need to talk it into existence. You need to, you know, she really believes in all of that, and I do too. And she said, you know, the more you say it, the more that it, this guy looks so familiar to me. When you're in 12-step programs, you see people all over, and you're like, I know you from somewhere, but I don't know where I know you. I'm not saying that's the case with him, but he ain't even paying attention. He's got the green light. He's just sitting there. Dude, you got the green light. But anyway, let me tell everybody how to drive. But she, you know, she said you need to talk it into existence. You know, if you want to be a writer that lives off of his writing, then you need to start saying, I'm a writer. And, you know, I really believe that. And so I started saying it. When people would ask me what I did for a living, I'd say I'm a writer. This was long before I did YouTube. And, but I still would really struggle with it, right? And even like, I did a lot of speaking engagements when my book first came out. I went and talked to a lot of like LGBT centers, and I talked to like PFLAG groups, parents and friends of lesbians and gays, about anti-bullying, because my book has a lot to do with bullying, and parents' acceptance of sexuality issues with, you know, their kids, kids identify as LGBTQIA+. So I did a lot of talking and things. Well, she heard through the grapevine, because somebody else that she worked with, that I was at an event, and they said, the person that introduced me said, will you tell a little bit about yourself? And I said, yeah, and blah, 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 you know, I'm Peter Monn, and, you know, I was a counselor for so many years working in the treatment facility, and I told this kind of story, but I never once said anything about being a writer. And the publisher was like, why don't you call yourself, I don't understand. And at that point, I had won like two awards, I think I had won for my book, and I had gotten nominated for a couple other awards, and there's an award called the Lambda Awards for books every year, and the year that my book came out was, I think, the same year that Aristotle and Dante discovered the secrets of the universe came out, so I had no, you know, chance in hell. But I got even considered for it. Like, they asked for me to submit it, or however that works, I don't know, but I was like super excited about that. And you know, like, some newspaper wrote an article and compared me to, they said that I was like the fault in the stars for the LGBT community. And it just, you know, and she was like, at what point, you know, it's not the, listen, she goes, I know that you are aware this is not the greatest book that ever hit the world, okay? She goes, I know that you're like, I wrote it in 3.5 weeks. There's a lot more that I could do with it. She goes, you wrote a book. She goes, you had really great sales for a first-time author putting books out. She was like, your sales are like over the top for what usually people do that don't have like a major, you know, contract. She's like, why aren't you more proud of yourself? And I think sometimes in life, I'm like, it's easier for me to accept my failures and my successes. So anyway, I don't know. when I say a real YouTuber, like I don't necessarily feel like that. You know, you hear people say, oh, I'm a YouTube creator, I'm a YouTube, like I feel like that's kind of phony a little bit. Like I don't feel like that. I don't feel like I'm a YouTuber, when to be honest with you, I spend like 80% of my time making YouTube videos, doing stuff to do with YouTube, answering emails, doing social media stuff, because that's what I love. So I guess I really am a YouTuber, you know? But I just don't think of it that way. I just think of it as that I feel blessed that I get to do something that I really, really love. And, you know, part of my fear too is that all of the things in my life that I loved doing, once I started seeing it as like, well, I have to do it, or it's work or something like that, it lost the luster for me, if that makes sense. You know, like writing has not done that. I still love to write, but like, you know, working in the field of social work and things like that. Like I got in it because I was so excited. I fell in love with it, blah, blah, blah. I was so excited to, you know, well, I didn't care what I did, you know, just working with whatever, the elderly. I would work with anybody. I was so excited, you know, just to be part of it. And, but over time it just, I don't know. It's hard to work within the system. Okay. It's hard to work within the system and really believe in like the justice system, because I do really believe in the justice system to some degree. Like I believe that if you get arrested, justice might be served. So if you're drinking and driving and you get arrested, you're probably going to suffer some consequences. But I see a lot of people not get the help they need from the justice system. You know, parents trying to, you know, get their kids into treatment that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and no court system will help them with that. You know, they'd rather have them on probation for 6 months and court order them to treatment, because if they court order them to treatment, then they're financially responsible for it. I mean, on and on and on, you know? There's always catch-22s, but the problem is when you're in the system, I mean, when you work within the system, you're a social worker or whatever. Oh my God, dude, come on, it's red. You, what you realize is that their hands are tied too. So like, you know, all the people that work within the system, the social workers, the counselors, the probation officers, even the judges, you know, the attorneys, their hands are tied too. And so it's just, and it's really a lot, to be honest with you, about money. Like, where is the money, you know? Counties would send people to treatment if they could afford to send people to treatment. Well, I hate to tell you that the government, okay, who gives out grants for county-funded treatment, do not believe very highly in mental health treatment and addiction treatment. They just don't. There's not a lot of money there. Do your research if you don't believe me. It's like addiction treatment is one of the least funded things out there. And so you have to kind of work within the system and manipulate it, you know, and it's such a mess. And then you just get so down after a while, and then, you know, you realize that, like, well, you're kind of part of the system too. And so, you know, that's why, like, when I was in graduate school, like, a big part of what we learned about was advocacy within your system. So you're not just working as a social worker, you're fighting for the people that you work with too, if that makes sense. So it's important to do advocacy work, activism for the area of the population that you work in. So like when I was working in treatment programs, we were just as trained as enough to also have to, like, you know, like people that I worked with went to Washington, D.C., you know? They talked to senators, they talked to congressmen about the money that was available for that, you know, because that is important. And it's really, really sad to say, but like when it comes to you guys are probably like, we could care less about this, Peter. But it's really sad to say, but I really, truly believe, like, you know, with the crack epidemic in the 80s and like Nancy Reagan and the Just Say No and all that kind of stuff, and there was a lot of money that was funneled into that, we are literally losing hundreds and thousands of people to the heroin and opioid epidemic. And I think it is really sad that people are, it's going to take that for people to wake up, okay? But the thing is, this is what's bad about it, right? It's the same thing that, like, you know, when we had the AIDS crisis in the 80s, and it was the majority of the people that were being infected and were dying from it were gay men, right? There was this whole population of people that were saying, well, they deserve it, it's based on their choices that they're making, blah, blah, blah. There was a stigmatization that goes along with it, which really it doesn't matter, okay? Who cares? It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter how anything is gotten. It matters that we need to treat people like they're human beings, right? Well, similarly, when people are dying from heroin overdoses, 10 times even worse, okay? What they're saying is, well, they're the ones that put the needle in their arm. They're the, there's not a lot of sympathy for the drug addict, so to speak. When a lot of times what people don't realize because they don't have the education is they didn't have a chance before they even started. They were born into addicted homes or they have a predisposition for addiction. And yes, nobody forced them to put a needle in their arm. I'm not saying that anybody did, but it's not like they chose that lifestyle. It's not like they woke up one day and said, I want to be a heroin addict. You know what I mean? Like, no, but I don't think anybody asks for that. So, I don't know, it's sad. When you look at the whole overall picture, it's like, who's advocating for the still suffering addict and alcoholic out there on the streets? Not many people. And it breaks my heart. And I don't know, like, how do I start on one thing, like a camera, and end up here? Do y'all ever wonder? I don't know. But anyway, it's interesting. It's like, I think it's going to take this opioid epidemic and everybody talking about it right now. I mean, in every TV show, in the last year, it's like Intervention did an entire series on it, the women of whatever county, the forgotten women of whatever county in Ohio, or, that did the whole thing on it. We've had, famous people die of heroin overdoses. Eventually people are going to wake up and say enough is enough. And if we put more money into prevention instead of treatment, I think maybe things would start changing. Because I didn't used to believe that, but I really do now, is that a lot of money needs to be put into prevention, Catch people when they're experimenting. Catch people when they're getting the DUIs and they're getting their first prescription drug charge, and they're getting charges for, whatever. Let's catch them then and put them in treatment programs. Let's stop it. Let's nip it in the bud then, I firmly believe in drug court systems in our country, and Indiana has some fantastic drug court systems, where we have a judge in Hamilton County, and she court orders people to like 90 meetings in 90 days for a year. And you have to have a sponsor. Your sponsor has to come to court with you. You have to be in an outpatient program, and you have to take random drug screens and live in work release, okay? She is saving lives, and people hate her. They're like, they will sit and say, I cannot stand this woman. She is the biggest bitch in the entire world. Flash forward 5 years, they're still alive. They're actively working 12-step programs. They're living on their own. They have houses and apartments. They've gotten their kids back, and they're living good lives. Why? Because this judge was willing to put them into drug court order them to a year of daily meetings. She was willing to do what nobody else was willing to do, and this is the kind of tough love that it takes. If I didn't have my father and my stepmother tough love, because my mom was not in a position to do it actively using, if I didn't have them to tough love me into recovery, I wouldn't be here right now. And they had to get to the point where they realized, what, if Peter goes out there and he continues to make the choices that he's making and he doesn't want to get sober, that is on him. Like, that's not on us. And if he ends up dying, my dad told me later, he's like, I had to get to the point where I realized, even if you die from this, Peter, that I can't do anything about that, but I cannot continue to enable you out of fear that you may die from this. Can you believe I just went and bought a brand new camera, and this camera has gone 23 minutes, and the yellow light is not on? That is crazy, you guys. I can't believe it. Crazy, I tell you, crazy. And I'm thankful for it, but I hated him at the time. I hated him. I was so angry at my dad, I can remember him coming in there and I was like, fuck you, you don't care about me, you don't love me, if you loved me, blah, 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 whatever. He did not care either. It's one time he came in and he was bringing a check. My dad paid for my last treatment because insurance would paid for 1 day. 1 day, 1994, they paid for 1 day of treatment. I'd exhausted so many treatments at that point. My dad said he looked like he said, this is the last time I'm paying for treatment for you. So he came in and I was like, Dad, oh Dad, it's great to see you. And he looked at me and he said, he's like in a suit and tie, right? Because he worked at the hospital right next door, and so he just walked over. And he said, I don't want to talk to you right now. And I said, what do you mean? It's so great to see you. It's visitation day. And it was visitation. I thought he was there. And he goes, I'm not here for visitation. He goes, I don't want to visit with you. And I had also asked people not to visit me because I was like, I just didn't want to deal with anybody. And I was like, I was ashamed, I wanted to be by myself. And And I go, what? And he goes, I am so pissed off at you right now. He goes, you need to let me be angry for a little bit or something like that. I can't remember how he said it. He goes, I'm here paying for this treatment because insurance will only pay for 1 day. And he goes, and I'm paying for this treatment because I believe that you need it, but I'm done after that. You know, I'm not paying for any more treatment for you. And he was serious. I had like a meeting with him and the doctor, and you know, he had this huge like list of things I had to do. I had to go to aftercare twice a week. I had to go to a meeting every day, twice a day sometimes. I had to have a sponsor. He had to be able to talk to my sponsor whenever he wanted to. I wasn't able to drive for so many months on whatever. I had to either be in school or have a full-time job, which we talked about after I got out of treatment, because I focused my first 9 months on staying sober, which I'm thankful that I did, because if I didn't, I don't think I'd have the foundation for sobriety that I have today. Anyway, we did all that. He had all this stuff, and I remember looking at the end of it, and I had these kind of contracts in high school growing up, right? Like, if you don't do this, if you come home an hour late, then this is the consequence. I'd had all these kind of behavior contracts, and I go, where do I sign it? And he goes, you don't sign it. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, these are my boundaries. Follow them, and we'll be okay. Don't follow them, and I'm done with you. I want you out of the apartment. I want you out of my life. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, if you don't choose to follow them, he goes, that's on you. And if you go back out and start using again, I don't even want to hear from you. I mean, he was really angry. And you know, I'm really glad that my dad didn't cry and coddle me. Oh my God, you almost ended up dead. I'm so scared for you, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure that he did have that fear, you know? I believe that when parents and family members grieve their addict or alcoholic, they are also grieving what they thought their child was and who their child was. And so to go through the stages of grief, which I don't know how much I believe in this, but to go through anger, denial, you know, all that kind of stuff, bargaining, whatever, I think makes sense. I think we do that with the addict and the alcoholic, right? But my dad was so far past that. He was so far past the coddling and the emotion. And I really owe it to my stepmom, who really gave him the support to do that. I mean, he was not having it. He was like, I mean, I think he had resigned himself to the fact Peter will be dead by 25. I think that he was at the point where he just believed Peter will be dead by the time that he's 25, you know? And there's just, if that's the case. I had, you know, too many car accidents. I had, like, walked across interstates. I had gotten hit by cars, thrown by cars, lifelined. I mean, I had had so many things happen to me in and out of jails that I think my dad just was like, he's gonna be dead, you know? He's just gonna be dead. There's just no way about it. Like, what time am I at on here? 27 minutes. I cannot believe no yellow light. This is Murphy's Law, isn't it? I swear. I go buy a new camera and then my camera works. Oh well. Now I'm a real YouTuber, I guess. But if I went back there and I said, I don't want my camera, I want to cancel that order, my camera would start acting up again. You know it would. That's how life is, right? Well, maybe I'll get this camera. I'll be so much more happy with this new camera that I won't even, you know. Oh, well. I should put my camera on eBay. YouTube famous piece of shit yellow light camera. $1,000. Oh my gosh. It's kind of turned into this pretty day outside. Look at this. There's total black rainstorms behind me, but look at up there how pretty it is. Indiana summer Sunday. Just another manic. Oh, the yellow light is on. I didn't even see it. Or maybe it just came on. Oh, it must have just come on. It's just another manic Monday. Oh no, I wish it was Sunday. It is Sunday. Oh, he's got a gay sticker on his car. Let's see it. And he was texting. You were oh, you're. Oh, let's see if he's cute. I don't know her. But you are literally rolling. What does this sticker say? It's like an Indiana sticker, but it's got like a gay rainbow on it. It's just another manic Monday. Oh, Lord. Do you guys love that song? I love that song so much. I want to download a bunch of music from like when I was in high school, like music that I used to listen to in high school. I do have like on my iTunes, I have like a high school playlist of all the songs like the Smiths, The Cure, and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much more. Like I listened to a lot of John Mellencamp back in high school too, and there's all of this music that I used to listen to that I haven't listened to in a long time. that I'm gonna have to make a playlist about. So, all right, you guys, I'm almost at 30 minutes, so I'm gonna stop this for a while, and I'll be back for the finale in the middle of the day. Love you, bye. All right, I'm back, and it's early evening, so the lighting in here is gonna suck, you guys. I'm really sorry. Let's see if that makes it worse. Maybe if I turn around and go the other way, it'll be better. I'll try that in just a second. I'm wearing my glasses because my contact, I kept on taking it out and putting it back in, and I couldn't figure out like why it hurt so bad. I was like, it just kept on irritating me, and it was like you know, if you wear contacts, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just felt like something was on it, like there was like a piece of dirt on it or something like that. Well, I took it out and I held it up, and there was like the littlest tear in it, which can be really dangerous for your eye. So I just took them out, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wear my glasses for tonight. It's just not that deep. I can wear my glasses. So that is what I am doing. Alex has been in bed watching one Riverdale episode after another, and I was going to take a nap, but I ended up laying down, and I've been doing those question things on Instagram, which I know are totally arrogant and who'd care, but I had so much fun doing them. So I just kept on answering all these questions. And then I went through my emails since like, I mean, you guys, I have some emails that go back, I mean, to like last September. And so I went and I cleaned out all of my spam emails. I had so many, I can't even tell you how many emails I had. Something like 1,400 emails. I'm now down to, I mean, some of them, you guys, were so like old that I was just like, there's no point to answer this email, to be honest with you. Like, it felt stupid for me to I mean, I know you guys are probably like, well, it was one of mine. I'm sorry. There's no way that I can answer all of these emails. If I literally sat down and answered every email that I had, and the problem was, which is so fantastic, is I got so much support in December that in the month, like from December, like from Christmas on through January, I literally had like 600 emails just about all of that. So, and I mean, every single one of them was like, I support you, I support you, I support you, I support you. So thank you so much for the support. But I got it down to now, it's manageable. I have like 160, I think, emails that I have to respond to. So that's going to be my goal this week. But I did find in there, because I did go like through each email, and I looked and read each email. And I received, so Dana, thank you, Dana, sent me a $50 gift card from Amazon at Christmas that I didn't even know was there. So thank you so much, Dana. That was amazing. And so for that reason alone, I'm glad that I went through. But I went through and I did answer some that were really old. Some people asking me for some advice on how to write a book. Some people, you know, a couple people were asking me for breakup advice, and I said, hey, listen, I'm sorry, it's been so incredibly long since I've responded to you, but you know, when I started doing YouTube and I would talk to people that were huge YouTubers, you know, you can figure out who by the people I used to talk about, I would say to them, like, how do you manage social media? Like, how do you manage the direct messages? How do you manage like the emails and answer them? And they would just say, I don't. And I would say, what do you mean? And do you have somebody that does that stuff for you? I mean, I'm assuming at this point, like, they were making so much money that they could just hire somebody to do all their social media and emails and stuff. They're like, no, I don't answer any of it. I'm like, you don't answer any of it? And they're like, no, it's too much. And I always kind of thought that was so rude, you know? But like, I've tried so hard to keep up with it, you guys. Like, I really, really have. Like, you know, even just to answer like 10 or 20 emails a day and 20 DMs on Twitter, and then, you know, like to go into Snapchat and answer like 20 messages on, I mean, before you know it, it's an Instagram, like 20 messages. I try to do like a little bit each day on each thing. It's like 100 or 200 things I do each day, and that takes me like 2 or 3 hours. I just don't have the time for it, you know, like, and I feel horrible because you guys are so nice to like message me stuff. And so my plan is that I want to weed it all out and get to the point where I can start fresh and then every day just go in there and whatever I get for that day is what I answer for that day, if that makes sense, and just dedicate, because I don't want to get to a point where I just am like, no, I can't do it. I can't respond to any of it, because that was really important for me from the beginning, you know? The booktube stuff I pretty much kept up with all along, always, but I don't get a lot of emails over there. These glasses are killing me. They're like, I never wear my glasses except for before I go to bed. Look at that. They're crooked. And they're hurting my eye. They're hurting behind my ears right here. So anyway, yeah, so I got caught up on my emails. So I'm happy with that. And then I need to go through my Instagram and my Snapchat and do the same thing. Twitter is like, oh my God, you guys, Twitter. I mean, I literally have like, well, I have so many messages on people that I've already like talked to or interacted with, but then on the requested ones, I have, I don't know, I mean, probably thousands over there, and I feel horrible about it, you know, I just do. But I don't want to just like, the other thing is like I got on at a point on Snapchat where I would just like send somebody a blue heart, just to like, you know, let them know that I had seen their message. But I feel bad about doing that. Like I always want to give like some personal response. So when people ask me questions, like I always want to give them, you know, an answer to it. Like I feel bad about it. It's like, is this like gonna help at all? You know what I mean? Like I want it to be like a personal interaction, because I feel so blessed to have you guys like watch my videos and stuff like that. I don't know, it just, so, but it has been a good day. So yeah, I got home and Alex was like in bed and kind of in and out of sleep watching Riverdale, and I did all that. I couldn't fall asleep. I just was like, I am not tired whatsoever. And Tanya texted me and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing, what are you doing? And then she never responded to me. And then I called her and she didn't answer, so she probably fell asleep. She probably laid on her couch thinking she wanted to get a fountain Coke. But then, she, fell asleep or something, so she'll probably message me here in a little bit. Alex is hungry. He's watching Riverdale, and you know, they get that Pops and Riverdale and they eat cheeseburgers. So he's like, you know what sounds really good? And I'm like, what? And he goes, a cheeseburger from Steak and Shake. And I'm like, yeah, I don't eat cheeseburgers, so no, that doesn't sound good. And he was like, well, what sounds good to you? And I go, I mean, I guess I could do a grilled cheese, but we had already eaten brunch. I'm not really that hungry. So I don't know much about clothes, but my hair looks fierce. This time of day is like a really hard day to vlog because the light is so bad. Like, I don't know. I'm like going this direction so that the light is a little bit better, but it's still so bad in here. What time is it? If I get home, it is 9:25. If I get home in time, I'll probably pick him something up to eat on the way home because I know he's hungry. If I get home in time, I'll probably go for a little bit of a swim. It's 85 degrees right now. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my God, I finished Twin Peaks last night, The Return. It was fantastic. I don't really know what to say about it. I'm very, very confused. So I went in and was reading all of these articles about what happens at the end. So if you guys would like me to talk about what I think happened at the end of Twin Peaks, I will put it on here. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, though, that is going to watch it or hasn't watched it or thinks that they might want to watch it, although I don't really think that if I told you what I thought about it, it would really ruin it for you. But let me know if you want that on here, and I'll put it on here. I thought it was fantastically done. I thought that, having finished it, that David Lynch, the director, must have known 25 years ago that he was going to put this out 25 years later. Like, he teased it out and said he was going to do it, but like, he must have known the way that he shot some of the footage. He had to have known that he was going to film it 25 years later if he was still around. Because some of the things, some of the video or some of the film that they shot 25 years ago that they used at the end, like, unless they just randomly pieced pieces that they had together from back then, there's no way. Like, it didn't have anything really to do with the story 25 years ago. And I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, how did he, like, know that he was going to need this footage? And how did he know, like, I mean, it's just, like, genius. And the only thing I mean, there were some things that, okay, the show is so entirely out there and weird, but not really, if you think the way that I do. It's a lot about alternate realities, dreamscapes, things like that. Like, are we all just in a dream? Alternate realities, which I have a lot of interest in those kinds of things. If you guys watch my, vlogs, and you know that, like, well, that's a lot of what, like, Coast to Coast AM is about. They talk about that kind of stuff over there all the time, and it's really intriguing to me. So I believe in a lot of that stuff. I believe it's possible. So it really, like, the show isn't even that out of the realm for my belief spectrum, if that makes sense. Not to mention that it is so artistically beautifully, that makes no sense. It's just beautifully artistically shown. It is so, look at this hat. I feel like this hat is just like sitting on top of my head, and my face looks so fat and round. But it's just so gorgeous the way that it is shot. But I think that most people, unless you're like a David Lynch lover, would not like it. I think they would just be like, I'm so confused by what is going on. And you definitely have to watch the first 2 seasons to have any clue what this is about. Like, if you go into this and try to watch it without watching the first 2 seasons, you'll have absolutely no clue. None whatsoever. Oh my God, that person changed lanes like so quick and just like rushed up behind him. They almost got into a car accident. Dangerous. What else? So yeah, I finished that late last night after I did my vlog, and I came home and I watched it. It was really good. And, oh my God, Julie Cruz, first of all, okay, I can't, there's things I want to say, but I can't say. They just towards the end of the show, they brought back pieces from the first part of the series, which made me so happy. There's like a dance that happens at the end of the show, and like when I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they're doing this, they're referencing this makes me so happy. There was that, and then it really did, honest to God, as crazy as it sounds, tie up every loose end in the show. Like, it fantastically did, in a weird way that made no sense, but fantastically. And it really all circled back to where it very first began. But then something really strange happens at the very, 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 very end. And so I got online and started reading. And do you guys do this? I started reading articles like, what does the end of Twin Peaks, the return mean? And the guy that directed Mark Frost, he was one of the producers. He wrote a book that was actually like an FBI dossier after the show was finished. I've never heard of this book, but anyway. And so he told like what happened, and it was all from the point of view of the female FBI agent in the show. I'd like to see this book. I think it'd be really interesting. But anyway, and it goes in and he explains what happens at the end of the show. So, do you guys want me to tell you? I mean, I want to talk about it so bad and like spoil it, but like, how can I do this? Okay, I'll tell you what. Keep on watching this, and I'm going to talk about it for a second. And when you guys can come back, I'll wave my hands like real crazy, okay? So mute it. I'll let you mute it, and I'm going to start talking about it. And then when you can come back, I'll wave my hands real crazy, okay? For those of you that don't want to know. Give you a little moment. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Okay. So supposedly, what happened was that when Cooper and Diane went over the thing, the electricity thing, they entered an alternate reality. Now, when I watched it, originally what I thought was that the room with the jagged floor and all that weirdness was really like a green room to heaven or the afterlife, okay? But that has nothing to do with it. So Diane and him entered an alternate reality. Well, this Judy, this old entity, is so strong that she still has some control over because she's such a dark old entity, has still a hold over what happens, okay? So when Cooper was trying to change, if you haven't watched the show, you guys are like, I am so confused. What are you talking about? When Cooper tried to find Laura Palmer, okay, and he was in the woods and he was trying to pull her away and stop her from being killed, he did. And so what happened was he irrevocably changed the destiny of what happened, and Laura Palmer didn't die, okay? And in this book that was supposedly written, she just disappeared. She never died. And so they have no idea what happened to her. Well, that's why nobody knows who Laura Palmer is, because you wouldn't remember a case from 25 years ago where somebody disappeared and whatever. I mean, like, there really would be no show, no story, nothing to it, right? And she doesn't die, and that's where it goes zzz, zzz, like the body on the beach zaps. So anyway, but then if she never died, then what that means is that they're thrown into an alternate reality where Laura Palmer's death never existed. And if that's the case, then they're completely different people and the whole world is a completely different place, right? Okay. So that's why everybody that he meets at the end has no idea who Laura Palmer is. He has a different name, on and on and on. Well, when he goes and gets Laura Palmer and he takes her back to her house, and she's like, she has no clue where she's at, and the woman doesn't know who she is and all kind of stuff. At the very end, like the last 5 seconds, when she looks up at the house and she screams, it's because she's had a recollection. She hears her mother, if you listen closely, because they say it in the article and I went back and listened, something like that. She hears her mother say, Laura, and then she screams, okay, and looks up at the house, and the house blacks, and everything blacks out. Now, Showtime has left it up to David Lynch on whether or not there's going to be a season 2. And in that same reality, he goes home to Dougie Jones. That's like another reality, right? So there's all these different alternate realities. But one of the alternate realities was that he could never go back to the Twin Peaks that he knew, again, with Gordon, his, the FBI agent, and all this kind of stuff, because he had already, saved Laura Palmer, supposedly. And if he saved her, then there never would have been that Twin Peaks that he knew would never have existed, if that makes sense, in that kind of thinking. So anyway, it was very, very interesting. I would love to see another season of it. The one thing that I really did not like was that the whole Audrey thing was so confusing to me. And so apparently she was in a psych hospital, that's what I'm guessing. But did you hear the part where she said, that's why I'm fucking Billy? But wasn't Billy her kid? So what was she insinuating? And then Billy was also the second Cooper's son? So Audrey and Cooper had a baby together. Is that what we're supposed to understand? I'm so confused. And then at the very end, did we get that she was in a psych hospital? Okay, but why didn't they explain that more? Like why she was there and what happened anyway? You can come back! You can come back! So I'm done talking about it. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It made me realize why I love David Lynch so much to begin with, and why I was so taken with that show. I mean, never a dull moment. And I have to say this, and this won't ruin it for anybody, but a couple of people commented when I was watching it, and they said, I love Dougie Jones. I love Dougie Jones. I love the Dougie Jones character so much. And when I was at the first, and they said that when the first episode that I was watching with Dougie Jones, okay, can I just tell you, I love Dougie Jones. Dougie Jones is maybe one of the most fantastic characters that has ever been created in television, period, end of story. And Kyle MacLachlan, the way he played him was so unbelievable. He was so good as Dougie Jones, was he not? I mean, just unbelievable. You guys, I cannot believe that I bought this brand new camera and that stupid yellow light has not come on once since I bought that new camera. I knew this would happen. I knew that I would invest a bunch of money in a new camera. Well, oh well. Everybody's saying, the other thing is that people are saying on my videos lately that it's really foggy and they're having a hard time seeing. So I went into my creator app and I watched the video on my drama channel where people were saying it, and my video looks completely fine. So I'm wondering almost if it's not YouTube. Like, a couple people have said it to me, and when I watched it back, I was like, the video looks perfect to me. So I'm wondering if it's not YouTube, you guys. Like, does this video seem fuzzy to you? I cleaned off the lens, so it shouldn't. But anyway, yeah, Dougie Jones was a fantastic character. I loved him. The whole thing was just done so well. I will say this, Kyle MacLachlan, for being 25 years older than he was when the show came out, looks really good for his age. I was like, oh my God, he hasn't really even aged a whole lot. And neither has David Lynch, for that matter. It's like a brunch place. So much done today that I hadn't planned to do anything today, and I got like so many things I got done today. And I think I'm gonna go and buy these like hanging racks from IKEA, and because I've been like working on the basement, and I also want to clean my closet out. And I bought 2 pairs of shoes from ASOS yesterday and 2 bathing suits. Did I say that on here last night? Alex loves that ASOS website. I do too. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this ASOS website now. So anyway, and they have like, their stuff is like really reasonably priced too, I think. Well, the majority of it. And they have like really good sales stuff on there for women too, so you should go check it out. It's ASOS.com, ASOS. And they have it in the UK and in the US, and like they have different websites for each. But anyway, so I bought 2 pairs of shoes. I bought a pair of like penny loafers with these tassels on them that are black. That sounds cheesy, but they're not. And then I bought a pair of creepers for the fall. You know, creepers, like 50s creepers, and they're like loafers, and they have like that thing, you know, that jagged thing, and then they have like tassels on them, and I think they're gonna be like really cute with like khakis and like a jean jacket. So I'm excited about that. And then I bought this bathing suit that says Ibiza on the side of it. And then I bought just a black bathing suit for when we go to Vegas. But I got a whole bunch of stuff done. So anyway, I never use any of the hanging clothes in my closet because I can really, to be honest with you, not fit into anything in there right now. So I'm thinking about buying like 2 hanging racks. I looked online at IKEA. They're like between $10 and $15. So if I buy 2 or 3 of them, I think like everything in my closet that's hanging should fit on there. And then I'm just going to slowly go through and like take to the, you know, thrift stores the stuff that I don't want and like keep the stuff that I do want, because there's a lot of cheesy shit in there that I don't need. And then the rest of it take to the basement. And until I start losing weight, and then when I do, I can start bringing that stuff back up there. But then I'm going to wash it and rehang it, so it'll be like brand new and clean. Plus, I have like a lot of shirts that have been on hangers for so long that like they're white, you know, and they have like just dust. I mean, I haven't worn them in like 3 or 4 years. I just need to get rid of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Look at this tree right here. How pretty this tree is. I don't know why I just thought that, but do you see that tree right there? Like, that does not look like that belongs in Indiana, does it? Look at that sky, that Indiana sky, summer sky. So cheesy, isn't it? This is going to be a really long vlog tonight. And can you believe it? It's only 9:39 and I'm almost at like over an hour of vlogging. Basically a movie. I'm basically a movie star. When you vlog for over an hour, you're basically a movie star. I'm basically a videographer of the world. Oh, my Lanta. Anyway. I can't believe that summer's half over. I've done so much stuff that, like, this has been a really great summer. This last year has been so fantastic. It's like, I feel like I've really, I just, you guys, I have to tell you, I am so blown away that twice today, okay? Maybe it's because I haven't filmed any other videos today. I don't know. But twice today, I have used this camera and, to vlog. and it has let me go to 30 minutes without even, I mean, the yellow light is still not on. I'm at 24 minutes and 46 seconds. Can you believe that? Like, I'm like just baffled. And yet I just bought a brand new camera. Like, what are you? But as soon as I say I don't want the camera anymore, it'll start doing it again. It's crazy to me. I don't understand. But anyway, I've done so much, you know, like I feel like in this last year, and I've had sad stuff happen in the last year. I mean, the last year's been a tough year for me, you know. I've had some real shit happen, you know, with my uncle and just all kinds of stuff, you know. And but I've had so many great things happen. Does this say Barnes and Noble over there? I've had so many great things happen too, you know. And it's like, I really think that the common denominator over the last year of mine being so fantastic is my appreciation. Oh my God, this is a field over here, and all you can just see is just lightning bugs going off like this. It's so cool. I'm gonna turn around. I think that the common denominator from the last year of my life has just been like how much I've noticed the smaller things in life. I hope it doesn't get real dark now because I turned the other way. Oh, look at that blue sky. The common denominator for me in the last year, I think, has been... That's kind of cool, isn't it? Look, all the blue. I'm trying to stop so I get a little thumbnail. You know, really trying to notice the more specific small details of my life. You know, the moments with the dogs and with Alex and all of the great things, and, you know, the small great things, not the big picture things, but the small picture things. And I think the more that I've done that and the more that I've focused on gratitude in my life, the more I've been able to really appreciate the bigger picture, if that makes sense. Like, the more I've focused on the smaller things, it's like if you're making a pie, the more cognizant that you are of each specific detail, you know, the more that you're like, okay, you know, I want specific, you know, clove, or, you know, a certain kind of nutmeg, and I want organic this, you know, organic pumpkin, and from this pumpkin patch, and, you know, like only this kind of sugar, and you know what I mean? Like, the more cognizant you are of the smaller details of your life, or the smaller details of the building of the pie. Why did this light not change for me? I think the better the whole pie tastes, you know? But you have to be aware of the whole pie, like the small details of the pie. You have to. You can't just throw in this flour, sugar, whatever, and just go, oh, it's going to be the best pie in the entire world. You have to be careful to pay attention to the small ingredients that go into it. Each one, you know, paying attention to each ingredient. That one is not more important than the other, which isn't really the case. I mean, you can't have a pumpkin pie without pumpkin, but you know what I mean? I guess more that the intention behind looking at it, that I want to have an organic pumpkin, you know, I want to have it from this patch. The intention behind trying to find a great pumpkin to go into your pumpkin pie shouldn't be any different than your intention behind following or finding, you know, the nutmeg that's going to go into it, if that makes sense, even though it's less. And the more you focus on each little detail, the better the pie will taste. And I think that's like true of life too, you know, the more you focus, and I'm not just trying to be like all like real intellectual talking about pies of the world, okay? But no, but like the more you focus on the small things, when you look at your life overall, then your life as a big picture looks fantastic, because you really realize all the smaller things, you know, that make up your life. And it's you know, it's those moments. So, all right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here. I have talked way too long today because this camera has allowed me to go on and on and on and on and on. So thank you. I didn't think I'd get to do this today, you know, and I'm really happy that I was able to talk for a long time on here today. I'm never allowed to do this, so, because the camera just always stops. So thank you for watching if you made it to this point, and I love you guys. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. I love you guys. Bye.